Good afternoon. It's good to be here today, and I get to actually talk about the Bible. And I'm going to actually be talking about today the Book of Malachi, actually. And I'm going to be talking about the first chapter in Malachi. We're going to go through the Book of Malachi uh, and take a look at just what is said there. And I was challenged by one of the viewers that we need to know all about Malachi, and he's right. And so I decided that that's what we're going to do uh, for a while to get through the book of Malachi. It's a short book, and really find out what it's all about. So I'm looking at Malachi, the book of Malachi, part one, and we can see in verse one of the first chapter what this book of Malachi is. It's called an oracle, and we really need to define that because we really don't use those kind of words today. But we need to be on the same sheet of music when we step into this. An oracle is defined as a person that is considered a source of wise counsel or prophetic predictions that is given to them by God. So if we look at Malachi 1, chapter 1, or excuse me, chapter 1, verse 1, we find out that it's an oracle. It's the word of the Lord to Israel through Malachi. And it says that in that, so we know right up front where it's at. So what we're looking at is a prophetic prediction that has been given to Malachi by the Lord for Israel. And if you look at Malachi chapter 1, verses 2 through 5, we start getting into it. It says, I have loved you, says the Lord. He's talking to Israel. I have loved you, says the Lord. But you asked, how have you loved us? Was it Esau Jacob's brother? This is the Lord's declaration. Even so, I loved Jacob, but I hated Esau. And I turned his mountain into a wasteland and gave his inheritance to the desert jackals. Then Edom says, we have been devastated, but we will rebuild the ruins. The Lord of hosts says this, they may build, but I will demolish. And they may be called a wicked country, and the people the Lord has cursed forever. Your own eyes will see this, and you yourselves will say, Lord is great, even beyond the borders of Israel. And so this is kind of awesome. So, as we look at this, we have to say, wow, as we look at this whole thing, it seems that there's a lot going on. And there is, and we have to look at it. And so why don't we go back to Genesis chapter 25 and take a look at verses 29 through 30. And it says this, once when Jacob was cooking a stew, Esau came in from the field exhausted. He said to Jacob, let me eat some of that red stuff because I'm exhausted. And that is why he was also named Edom. Jacob replied, first sell me your birthright. Look, said Edom, I'm about to die. So what good is a birthright to me? Jacob said, swear to me first. So he swore to Jacob and sold his birthright to him. Then Jacob gave bread and lentil stew to Esau, and he ate, drank, and got up and went away. So Esau despised his birthright. Now, this is important, okay? And I'm going to explain why. Back in that day, or then, the birthright was very important to the families because the one that had the firstborn birthright also had a responsibility for making sure that the family was taken care of, but also the covenants made through the family line were taken care of as well. This was really important because Esau and Jacob were the twins that Isaac and Rebekah had. And it was Isaac that God promised Abraham that the covenant would come through. So this is huge. And so we look at this Esau action was the first to be, if he was the first to be born. Okay, even though they were twins, he was the first one to be born. So when he came back from hunting, he was exhausted. And Esau sold his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of stew, meaning that he despised the birthright or the covenant that God had given him. Okay, so that's why that's why this language is in there. It wasn't just because Esau was somebody he didn't like. Okay, the truth is that he despised his birthright, and that birthright involved the covenant that God gave to Abraham and said would be carried out through Isaac. Okay, and so that's why it was so important. Okay, so in Malachi chapter 1 verse 6, it said, starting in this next section, it says, the son honors his father and a servant his master. But if I have a father, where is my honor? And if I have a master, where is your fear of me? Says Yahweh of hosts to you priests who despise my name. Yet you ask me how we despise you. Okay, so listen carefully to this, because they've asked that question and he's going to answer. It says, by presenting defiled food on my altar. You ask, how have we defiled you? When you say the Lord's table is contemptible, when you present a blind animal for sacrifice, is it not wrong? And when you present a lame or a sick animal, is it not wrong? Bring it to your governor. Would he be pleased with you or show you favor? Asked the Lord of hosts. And now ask for God's favor. Will he be gracious to you? Since this has come from your hands, will he show any favor to you? Asked the Lord of hosts. I wish one of you would shut the temple doors so you would no longer kindle a useless fire on my altar. I am not pleased with you, says the Lord of hosts, and I will accept no offering from your hands. For my name will be great among the nations, and from the rising of the sun to the setting, incense and pure offering. Incense and pure offerings from your hands. For my name will be great among the nations, and from the rising of the sun to the setting, incense and pure offerings will be presented in my name in every place, because my name will be great among the nations, says Yahweh of hosts. But you are profaning it when you say the Lord's table is defiled, and its product, his food is contemptible. So you also look at what a nuisance, and you scorn it, says the Lord of hosts. You bring stolen, lame, and sick animals. You bring this as an offering. Am I to accept that from your hands? Asked the Lord. The deceiver is cursed. Who has an acceptable male in his flock and makes a vow, but sacrifices a defective animal to the Lord? For I'm a great king, says Yahweh of hosts, and my name will be feared among the nation. Here's the problem. The priests started despising Yahweh in this way. They were doing their services and the sacrifices they were offering. So Yahweh sent Malachi with a warning of what they were doing and how they were dishonoring the Father and despising him. And that is what this book is about. It's about that correction that he wants them to take and take action. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope that you look into this. Go back and take a look, and let's start to study together. You have a blessed evening. See you later.